It's big shoes to fill. It's big shoes to fill. We're going to take a look at this vid and maybe try and come to a as to whether Leo's child, his Pekin, his young one, his umbilical corded merchant could potentially even come close to following in his footsteps. Let's get it. So you see, it's always a very difficult thing. It is always a very difficult thing when you are trying to step into the footsteps. Try not to step into the footsteps of a father that is amazing. I remember when Jordi Cruyff came through and guys were like, Cruyff. It never happened. Homeboy was overwhelmed with it. Pele's kids never really did much. Maradona's kids didn't really do much. And a lot of legends, their kids either didn't even want the spotlight, or when they came through, they just were not able to say what's up. The only situation where I think the son came close to the father that I can know is Kasper Schmeichel. And I think the only case I can think of where, but isn't even his father wasn't great, but where like his son has David surpassed his father is Federico Chiesa. Because Enrico Chiesa was all right. I remember him at Parma, so was all right. But I think Federico is already a better player. But I don't think we've had a case that's a legendary player and his son has come close or matched what he's done. Look at Zidane's kids. Like I think it's Enzo and like Luca and so forth. Yeah, all right. But they ain't Z's. They ain't your boy Z's. But so let's take a look at this and just see what skills your boy has, man. And then okay, let's just shut that down. Let's just pull this. Let's see what Zero's has. So this is Matteo Messi. All right, thing is short. You know, let's see what your boy Matteo Messi is doing, man. So his right foot said, look, there's something. Look, there's something there. There's something that look at that. You know, little pokey. Look at that. Boom. Nice little things. Because look, these are early days. I don't even know how this guy must be like 7 or 8. So, hey, okay, you can see that he wanted to put it past him. But you could just see that these are the early days. Because I don't know how good Leo looked when he was this age, you know. Oh, look, let's see, yeah, because he was trying to do the quick little shimmy. So look, see, already, because you see, you can already see that he's got the mentality and the psychology. Because even some kids this age, they don't even have any kind of concept or mentality of the dribbling. So the mentality is there, just as obviously he needs to work on his touch. Look at that. You see, yeah, you can see that he was obviously waiting for him to make his move and then he wanted to now to shimmy. But the thing got hold of him. So the early days are there. So, I mean, my thing is this is that look. If he decides to take this upon, the amount of pressure put on him is going to be huge. It will be massive because it's like, it's one thing following in the footsteps of like an Enrico Chiesa or so forth. It's one thing following the footsteps of one of the most talented players that we've ever seen. And most likely you can only fall short. Let's keep it real. No matter what he does, he can only fall short of what will be expected of him, because it's like you're dealing with one of the most talented guys out there. But the funny thing is that genetics is a very funny thing, and I want to watch and see what happens. Cristiano, like I even forgot Cristiano's kid. We don't really know how much he's doing or how into it he is. But for me, as I've always said, Cristiano, goal scorer and so forth, based on just the full myriad of footballing quality, you know, ball control, balance, football IQ, dribbling, first touch, control, everything. Messi is that dude, and he's been that dude for like over 10 years. But once you're so good, you would expect some of those genes to perhaps come into one of your kids. So it's going to be interesting to see, first of all, what the kind of player that Matteo is and what He does, because it's because I think as people we always want to see, if we fall in love with like a guy, we want like their children to sort of be somewhat the same. So we actually even supportive of them. It's exactly what's happening with John David Washington. Guys just love him because John David Washington, he's a decent actor. He's not the greatest actor. He's decent. But even for me, we want him to succeed because everybody loves, as in everybody loves and adores Denzel. And because, oh, this is Denzel's kid, we just are rooting for him to do well. So I think many guys will be rooting for Matteo to do well. But the thing as well is, how much pressure is he going to be under? Is he going to feel that pressure of, oh man, I need to perform, I need to do this because once he gets there, everyone will be saying it's the next layer, it's the next layer, it's the next layer, it's the next layer. And because it's similar to what happened with Jordi Cruyff. Because remember, when Jordi Cruyff came, even for me, who I was not really around when the whole Johan Cruyff was about, everything I had was, this is Cruyff's kid, this is Cruyff's kid, this is Cruyff's kid. And just that name, Cruyff, is synonymous in football. And obviously for Johan Cruyff, he was decent. So even if Johan Cruyff was like a decent player, people would always say, man, but you're not like your dad though. So you will never be judged on your own merit. You will always be like, yeah, man, boy, you're not like Johan Cruyff, you're not like that dude. So even if Matteo comes and is actually a pretty good player, guys will be like, man, but he's not Leo, man. We expect him to. It's almost in a way we expect him that because he's Leo's seed and so forth, we expect him to really be near him. But you have to keep in mind that yes, they said they share the same genes and so forth. But Leo, he's so maxed out in terms of footballing attributes. Because I've already said that, look, I have my own issues with Messi, with, the World Cup, Biggins and so forth. But I think one thing that cannot be denied is that we will never, ever, for a decade, see a player who has completely taken over football the way that Messi has. No way. So his son, child, daughter, leprechaun, and so forth will never see a guy dominate football for as long as Messi has, in terms of you've maintained a high level of performance for a long period of time. We'll never see that. So to now, if this Matteo now comes into the game, and we now expect him to now play a high level football for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, numerous CL, score like 100 goals in 1 year. That's too much. That's too much. But it's like, let's keep it real. Let's not beat around the bush. There's something in the back of our minds that if he does decide to now take football seriously, and he now decides whether he gets into La Masia and he's now starting to make headway, everyone will be thinking that, man, this is Lionel Messi's kid. This is Lionel Messi's child. So we will just be hoping that there's going to be something in there within him that has what Leo has. Because already from this clip, you can already see that he's got the very basic fundamentals on a very basic level, just a very basic understanding, which I just think that you'd expect from your father, who is just this kind of supernova of a player. But obviously, having those basic fundamentals is not about how well will he develop them. How well will he refine them? The key thing is refining them. Having the raw materials is one thing. You have to refine those raw materials, because if you don't refine those raw materials, then you can't be effective and you can't really do anything in the sports, man. So, look, it's if you were to ask me, okay, AJ, straight up, how good is Matteo Messi going to be? Because again, it's just off the ballpark. He will. I don't think he will come close to what Lionel Messi has done. Because I look at Jordi Cruyff. I think Play's kid was a keeper. I look at Zidane's kids. The whole thing of like, oh, your dad was amazing, therefore you should be amazing. History has told us that doesn't really tend to happen. But I think the key thing for him is for him to forge his own path. And I think for us as a people and as a football community is we can't expect him to be this supernova, because that's unfair on him and it's unrealistic. Because as I said again, we will never see a player like Messi ever again. So even if it's his kid coming through, doesn't matter whether it's his kid, we'll never see a player quite like Messi before. So I think that he'd be good. I think he'll be quality, as a little Argentinian guys who understand basic football are good. But how good he will be, I don't think he'll be a Messi. And I think, and this is the danger, which is what John David Washington has found. If this guy steps into the ring, the amount of pressure and the cloud you'll be under will be profound. Because imagine if he signs, he actually does pretty well. And imagine if Barca now signs and he plays for Barcelona. The comparisons will never stop. They'll never stop. And even if he does decent and so forth, people will still expect that, oh my gosh, this is Lionel Messi. Especially if Lionel Messi is in the stands and watching him, they'll expect so much. So it's almost a way that he can only lose because he will always fall short of the precedents that his dad has set. So if you're advising him, is like, just be you. Just be you. There's no point in you saying, okay, I can just be you. And really, at the end of the day, that is the best that you can be, man. But yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, tell me, guys, what you think. Matteo Messi, how good do you think he will be? Or do you even think that he'll even decide to even step into the ring as a player, man? But yeah, man. Interesting. And yes, Federico Chiesa lubricates his father. That's for sure. Like, subscribe, one love. I'll see you another one. Peace.